Then you moved on to nude photo shoots.
Okay, on that, how it wasn't exactly like that. It was, I got into a modelling agency from doing this dancing. I had a friend, she said, oh, you know, photographically you could work as a glamour model. So that means, a glamour model means that you don't mind showing in a tasteful way. You would do a bum cream, or so you don't mind showing a bit of flesh in a tasteful way. I was like, oh, okay then, you could earn £200. I was like, oh my God, really? So anyway, but to build up your portfolio, what happens is the agent sends you off to a photographer, and so you'll do a nice headshot or something pretty, and they go, but in return, because you're not paying for it, you have to do some of his artistic shots.
Yes.
And so I'm late teens, I've got no clue about protecting myself.
Are you proud of those pictures now?
Do you know, when I saw those pictures, I actually feel quite sad, because I kind of see the innocence and naivety in the face. It's not, I don't look at them and think I don't think they're empowering it at all. I'm not ashamed of them.
So, Geri, all those dodgy jobs that you were doing did eventually pay off, didn't they? In 1994, Geri's plans to audition for the Spice Girls went horribly wrong when she spent too much time in the sun on a family holiday.
At first I was quite irritated by her because, you know, she was sort of coming on the phone and the plans were constantly changing with her. She couldn't make an audition, you know, she was coming up with excuses.
But being Geri, she didn't allow a tiny problem like missing an audition to get in her way.
I think I blagged it a little bit and just was a bit loud and just pretended to be Mariah Carey.
Geri's determination paid off. She was in the group. Their manager moved all 5 of them into a modest 3-bedroom semi in Maidenhead.
Victoria and Emma shared, Mel C and Mel B shared, and of course Geri had her own room.
I am the original pop queen, everyone says.
Imagine 5 girls out of college, so I was about 18, 19, and it was just madness, chaos.
We'd wake up at 3 in the morning and go out clubbing in London.
It was Geri who was impatient for success.
No, I'm just feel like time's running out, I've got to get there.
She was a bit older than the other girls and was probably looking at this and thinking, well, this is the last shot at it, really. So, you know, she really had hold of it with 2 hands and really drove the project.
I tell you what, there's millions of kids out there that want to be pop stars. Do you know what I mean? And we're actually taking a step closer and closer to a dream.
The thing is with Geri, she's very organised actually, and quite bossy. she kept us all in line.
But you made things. I made that statement, and I think that's right.
Geri and Mel B had a very fiery relationship.
I know I did have this got a bit, that's why.
The thing is with me and Geri, once you put us together, which we were together quite a lot, but just me and her, there was no stopping. You know, it would actually be better for us two if Melanie was around, because then she'd go, look, you two, can you just stop? Me and Geri alone together, craziness.
After 2 years of relentless rehearsal and a change of manager to Simon Fuller, their first single, Wannabe, became a #1 smash hit. And the girls went on to conquer the world.
If you wanna be my lover.
There you are, you 5 girls. You put all this work in, but lots of people want to be pop stars, and then suddenly, bang, you're #1. And not just in Britain, this song goes #1 everywhere.
It sounds, I know this sounds cocky, but I absolutely believed in us. I did. I really did. It was a very, very exciting time. It's hard to explain it and put it into words.
Mel hinted there that you two stuck in the same room for too long would be not a good idea.
The question is...
You're never going to tell me, are you?
It was an amazing feeling to have somebody that was as brave as you, that would absolutely, if I jumped off, she'd jump with me. That somebody that she had guts, which I really, really admire. It was such a nice feeling to have someone match you in that way. But obviously, you know, you can't get on all the time. So.
Was it like when living with four other girls in a house? It must be tricky, isn't it?
I think, you know, particularly in the beginning, I was bossy, and very driven, which is probably a positive thing, but also probably slightly put pressure on the relationship sometimes, because sometimes it's that fine line between friendship and business. Do you know what I mean? So it's always being crossed. You know, sometimes you just want to let somebody off the hook, but equally we've got a show to do, we've got to show up.
Does he know how important he was to you, do you think?
He told me to go to a 12-step program.
And did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Did it work?
Yeah, it saved my life.
You've dated some very famous gentlemen over the years.
God. Oh dear. You know, I hate it, right? Because every time I go out with somebody, like, the minute I'm seen on a date with them, just maybe one try-out date, you know, then it's blown up into proportion. So this whole list comes out. But
Chris
anyway.
Evans, you went out with.
I did go out with Chris.
Were you in love with him?
I was very excited by I always loved Chris anyway from The Big Breakfast. I really admired him. So when I met him, it was very much, I felt like there was an equality about us. So I was very excited by it.
So
and he was a good, decent bloke. I don't know, I wouldn't want to measure the love there, but I do.
Do you feel love for him?
At the time, I think it was infatuation. Looking back, it was too short to feel, you know.
Because he's a very exciting kind of guy, isn't he? And you are too. I could see it working.
Do you know what? It was...
You'd have had perfect little ginger children.
I'm not real ginger, honey.
What?
I'm not real.
That's terrible.
There's a revelation for you.
You're a total fraud.
I am.
What are you then?
I'm just kind of like mousy brown.
Really?
Maybe I had a little golden fleck in there when I was a child, but not really a proper
Mousy
one.
brown spice isn't quite the same
It's not
thing,
quite
is
the
it?
same. I've been dyeing my hair since I was 12 years old. Different colours. It just so happened at that moment I was red. I'm sorry.
Well, I feel like ending the interview there, to be honest.
I know.
Let's move on to, let's make it easy for you. Let's move on to Robbie Williams. In love with him?
I absolutely love Rob. Rob and I met each other at a really poignant place in my life. I just left the Spice Girls and I was incredibly lonely, and nobody else on the planet knew how that felt except Rob. And so we were both I felt like we were both quite broken at the time and quite lonely, and it was very much more of a, I wouldn't say it was a romantic, it was more, I really understand what you've been through, and he understood me. Also, when I was really struggling, you know, with an eating disorder, and he really pointed me in the right direction of how to sort it out.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
He told me to go to a 12-step program.
And did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Did it work?
Yeah, it saved my life.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm incredibly grateful to him.
Why do you think it saved your life?
Because I think I would have ended up an anorexic, bulimic mess, really.
I mean, I've read various things over the years about your eating problems. I wasn't aware it was ever that serious.
When my father died, it really kicked it off. I stopped eating. It's a way of not engaging, and one of those things, you know, so you don't sit at family dinners. You don't. I just completely emotionally shut down.
I mean, did you eat at all when your father died?
Oh, it was. I got down to under 6 stone. I was just eating like an apple and some, like, 1 apple and some coffee and some bean sprouts. I was very, very controlling. I'm quite petite frame, so I'm curvy, so I can't carry a lot of weight. So when I was really tired, I'd comfort eat, and then the stress of thinking, oh my God, I'm going to look fat on camera or something, then I'd go and make myself sick all the time. And when I started getting help, oh my God, it was just, it takes so much. I admire anybody that reaches out and says, you know, I can't do this alone. And I think
Did you literally stand up and say, I'm Geri and I'm bulimic?
Oh God, yeah. And when you're famous,
what's that moment like when everyone knows who you are?
That's the thing, because even if you're not famous, we all want to think that, you know, our outsides look pretty, you know, and we're all keeping it together. So to admit when it's not going well, and you've got that fame, that, you know, that bravado, the ego, to kind of admit that you're struggling. I'm struggling.
Did you find it humiliating at the time?
The funny thing is, actually, it kind of brought me back down to earth and reminded me I'm just human, just like everybody else.
How long was it afterwards that you split up from Rob?
I didn't actually go out with Rob.
You didn't?
No. We were
Never a relationship?
No.
Does he know how important he was to you, do you think?
Probably not. I don't know.
Well, he will now. Tonight you look absolutely glowing with health and vitality.
Thank you.
Do you still have that inner doubt, do you think, about it?
I think for me, like, I've really worked on myself to have a healthy, you know, a healthy diet. I eat chips and chocolate. I don't allow myself to exercise as much. I try and have moderation, really.